All right, so I wanted to make a video to upgrade our AI girlfriend. So this could be considered build an AI girlfriend part 2. And in the first one, I kind of showed you how to use an API and how to use prompts in Cursor. But in this video, I thought it might be helpful to show you how to actually like vibe code and build a true dApp. Okay, and I'm choosing this project because this project actually had some bugs I can show you. This is what I built in the first video, so if you want to see how I got to this, then go watch that first video. But essentially, a very quick overview is here's the node modules, which is like all the libraries that it's going to be using, and here's a bunch of different files. These are the actual animation files, the config. By the way, don't try to copy my API. I'm going to delete it right after. But the config is the AI stuff. Okay, so it's taking my AI key, it's giving the personality, right? So you can see here it's like a badass bitch who treats me bad but also loves me. Let's make this bigger. And then there's other things like the voice. So this is the config for the AI. The index is just setting up the website. The script is kind of all the stuff going on behind the scenes. This is an important file that actually in this video today I wanted to fix. The styles is the colors, and that's about it. Okay, so with that, without any further ado, let me show you what it looks like. npm run dev, run dev. Okay, so this is essentially the current AI girlfriend that we're working with, okay? You can see that she's right here, okay? And I can scroll in, but there's actually, it says middle click pan view, so that doesn't it doesn't work. So actually, let me take a note of that. I'm actually going to try to write down all of the bugs that I see. This is the file I'm going to use later, but first, middle click drag movement on the avatar doesn't work. Sorry if this is a little bit boring watching me write, but it's important I write these down now. So actually, this is probably a good thing to mention. So if I'm going to debug, the first thing I want to do is just create a giant list of bugs. So you can see I just need one. So let's go through all the other stuff. So left click to rotate. That seems like it works. Ooh, yeah, you can see through her body. Actually, let's zoom out. There you go. It's a nice view. Okay, so left click to this works. Middle click does not work. Scroll does work. I can see that. T is the test speech animation. It's a little bit more friendly. So I'm going to press T.
Hello, this is a test of my speech animation.
Okay, that works. So 0 to 9, this is supposed to do the animations, and I'm pretty sure this doesn't work. So I'm going to press 0. Nope, nothing changed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so none of this works. So I'm going to do this. I'm just going to copy that, put that into the notes. Sorry. Don't work. I think the other ones also don't work. So you can see the process, right? I'm just going through all the things I built, and I'm going to see if they work. This is Shift 0. Yep, none of these work too. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to copy this. Copy. And actually, I may pause the video and just go through all these things and then review after. Okay, so I'm going to pause it right now and go through and collect more of these kind of debug things. Okay, I think that's enough. So I have a couple things here to fix. A lot of these are to do with animations here. Animations. This is the UX UI not working. There's some weird avatar bug that it layers it over the top. I want to improve the responses because it felt too like robotic and too long. And yeah, also the starting animation is a little bit too far away. Okay, so anyways, the reason why I did that is to show you the current state of affairs. This is what I built in the last video, and then in this video, I'm going to show you how to use Cursor to kind of catch these bugs, to be a pro vibe coder. Okay, so going back to, where is it? Going back to Cursor. So I'm going to close this. So this is Cursor. In this video, I wanted to give a very quick overview of kind of the interface and how to use it. So obviously there's this chat window here, and because I'm in the way, I'm going to make it really wide. There's this chat window here. This is where I would type things in, like hello, and it will give me the response. It also has access to all of these. So if here's the actual thing here. Can I move that up? No. So you can add context by clicking this button, but I find that a little bit glitchy. The better way to do it is just kind of drag things in. So I'm going to do this. So I'll say, this was the original prompt for this project. Please just review it so you have a good understanding of what we are working with. And just a note, I often do this type of thing just so that this chat thread has a background, right? Because if we start it right away, it may, for example, overlook this, right? So in the prompt, we have things like, This is going to be really important for debugging. Where is it? Here. All right, so it talks about kind of the morphs, right? So morph targets 10 to 19, things like that. So just by telling it to kind of review that, here you go, so this kind of stuff. By telling it to review that, it has this in this chat already, so then when it's doing other stuff, it can access that. It could technically access it later, but maybe it wouldn't think to do that. Okay, so yes, this is the chat window. You can see I actually I dragged that in there, so I can drag something like the README in there. I don't need that. Okay, so what else? If you accidentally close this was confusing for me. If you accidentally close that kind of chat window, it is Control-Alt-I, I think. No, Control-Shift-I. There you go. Control-Shift-I will bring it back. Another important thing is you can see the past chats. This is really helpful. Like if you had one chat that was doing the front end styles, and then another chat that's doing kind of like the JavaScript file. To keep those in two separate chats and then going back and editing within that's often helpful because each chat will have the context from before. Anything else? And the final thing, I guess, is if you wanted to find the cursor settings, it's right here, and it gives you kind of like, you know, what. Let me make this bigger. What models are you using? My favorite is Claude, so I use only Claude. You could do any of these if you at max mode, blah, 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 all that stuff. Okay, so I think we are ready to actually start doing this. And let me just show you. The plan I have for this, this video is essentially two things. I'll show you my plans. So this is, again, you saw this already. This is my second plan. Once we've actually fixed some things, then we're going to go in and fix these bugs. Well, actually not fix. So I'm going to do the bugs second, but the first thing I'm going to do is actually make two fundamental changes. The first thing I want to do is to make it modular, and the second thing I want to do is add a logging system. And I'll explain these to you right now because I think both of these are important things when you're working in Claude. The first thing, Cursor. The first thing is I like to build in a modular architecture. And this is because when you're using something like Cursor, it technically has access to all of the files. But it can get confused about where things are and what files to edit and what things not to edit. So whenever I build things these days, I try to do it in a modular architecture, which means you have like often you would have like a single or a couple master files which coordinate all these subfiles. Okay, and the reason why this is important is because if I'm trying to improve the audio, then Cursor can focus on a single file. It can update and change that file. And everything else is unaffected. Because what if I'm updating the audio and I break the audio and it breaks everything else? By having it modular, you kind of isolate that type of like ripple effect of negative changes. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to do because if I show you the current file, it's essentially just one giant script, right? All of this is everything, right? It's all in one place, and so if I fuck up something here, then everything else is messed up too. So that's the first change I want to do is I want to make it modular. And the second thing that, again, I think is really helpful when you're working in Cursor is to have a very smart logging system. Right now we have something really basic I can show you. So here I'll show you the inspect. So this is really helpful when you are building in Cursor because you can kind of get like a behind the scenes information about what's happening on the front end. And then the cool thing is I can just copy and paste this into Cursor directly. But in order to make that process even smoother, I'm going to improve this system with this, which I've called a smart logging system. And this just I gave it some information here, like, you know, if everything's fine, then just tell me it's fine. If there's an error, then collect as much information as you can about that error. And make it easy to copy paste into the AI for debugging. The other thing is I wanted to make it easy to integrate into all of the files. So all of the files will be using one smart logging system. This means I don't have to rebuild everything every time I make a file. Okay, so let's actually begin vibe coding and debugging this AI girlfriend. Okay, and I'm going to start with this one. So actually, this is one long thing I'm going to feed in right now. And essentially, I'm asking Cursor to make a prompt that I can then feed into Cursor. Okay, so analyze the current code base and create a detailed prompt. I'm telling it not to change the code, right? So I'm just looking for this prompt. And then in a new window, I will use that prompt to actually make these changes. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to copy all that and go back to Cursor. Okay, remember, oh, where'd it go? Here we go. Remember, this is why I did this before. The first thing I told it to do is like kind of take a look at this prompt so it has the background, also take a look at the files so it knows what's working with. And now let's go. So I'm going to just paste that all in, and it's going to give me those two prompts that I'm looking for. At least it should, okay? I'm going to pause while it's thinking. All right, it's done. So let's see what it gave me. Okay, so the goal, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here's what I'm looking for. It breaks it all down. Did it actually make a prompt for me? Oh, it did not make a prompt. Okay, let's take a look at what it did then. So it looks like all of this, let's see. Please turn this into 2 clear prompts, and then I'll put in brackets, I will use each one in a new thread to accomplish the task. Okay, so it did a good job. You can see it listed out all the different files that should be made, and it put into a new folder called modules, give examples. So this is all good stuff, but I actually asked it to give me a prompt, and this is not a prompt. So let's see, it's done now. Did it do a better job? It kind of did the same thing. Oh, here we go, prompt 1, prompt 2. Okay, so I guess let's just stick with this. So let me copy all this, and I will open a new thread. So the reason why I'm not doing it in here is just to keep things clean, because if you put everything in one chat kind of thread, then it can get confused and mix things up and edit old files. So it's always good to try to break these into chunks. So here's one, and I'm just going to do the first one, right? So prompt 1. I'm actually going to get rid of that. Oops, what did I just do? Oh no. Let's try that again. Okay, so this. Delete that. I'm going to go down to rest stuff. Okay, cut that. Oh, shoot. Okay, so that's one, and I'm going to actually click go on that, and I'm just going to let it go. I don't know. Oh, okay, it's giving me the stuff. Okay, modules, refactor plan. Okay, so essentially what it's doing now is making all these steps. Okay, and before I actually click go, I'm going to paste into the second one, which again, this was so that first one was the modular architecture, and the second one here is the smart logging system. And so I will do 1 before I do 2. Do not change the app logic UI. Only do. Okay, good. So, so let's just say, please review this, but don't start. Okay, just so it's kind of saved in there. It's going to make a title for that. All right, so now we're actually ready to start editing these files. We have these kind of 2 plans. This is the second one, so let's go. Okay, so again, here's the history button. So if you want to see all the different chats, you can just click that. And first, we're going to be doing this refactoring architecture one. Okay, so I'll say, let's go. Okay, and while it's actually editing all these files, I'm assuming it may break something, but let's just see what it does. Okay, and I will pause it and show you when it's done. All right, let's take a look at what it did. So what it's done is it's made this new folder here called modules, and it's made all of the different module files. So AI, animations, audio, logger, UI. And it looks like what it's done is just made the to-do, which means it's made these files. Let's have a look. Yeah, so you can see here, this is the actual file. The reason why it's all green like that, by the way, is because it's made new files and it's kind of asking for me to review them. If they're all good, just click accept all, and it will get rid of that. So you can see that it's made these files, but it's just made a to-do implement. And I'm assuming it's going to say, yeah, so here you go. It's the scaffolding is done. It's telling me exactly what it's done. It's saying, okay, next steps are these things. Migrating the actual code from the old script file into the new one and wiring it all up. Okay, so I'm going to click yes. Let's do all the other steps. So, and once that's done, I will refresh the npm run dev page and see if it still works. Okay, so I'm going to let that think through, and essentially what it's going to do now is fill in these files using the old stuff. Okay, so I will pause and let it think. Okay, and now it is saying that everything is done. So all modular migrations are complete. It said it's distributed the logic from the original script file. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, you can see it's already deleted all that from the original script file. So it's moved all that into this file here, which is main. And essentially what it's going to do now is, let's see, did it do all this? Okay, it still has the to-dos. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to refresh like it says. First accept, refresh like it says on this page. Refresh. Boop. Oh, looks like it might be working. That's cool. I see there's no text here, which is a problem. Hi, can you hear me? I can see there's some bugs here. So let's see, does this all work? So this is working.
Oh, honey, I can hear you loud and clear. Twice even. What, you think I'm deaf or something? Must be desperate for my attention, you pathetic little simp. But damn, it's cute how you can't get enough of me.
Okay, so it's saying...
I love you too, you know, even if you're a total
blah,
mess.
blah, 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 blah,
Now
blah,
spill.
blah.
What's got you double tapping like a needy
Pause
puppy?
it. Okay,
Smirk.
so it's saying heard you twice even. I don't know what that means. Anyways, it looks like it's kind of working okay. There's probably still some bugs that are not fixed, but because we're going to be making a smart logger next, I'm just actually going to move on to the next step. So let's go back. Let's actually first unmute this. Let's go back to my cursor. And let's move on to that other, remember this tab here, right? Implement a smart logging system. Okay, so I'll say I just finished building the new modular architecture. Please first review the current file folder structure. Also review this file, which is now outdated, to understand my original goals. Okay, so I'm putting this here also because, again, maybe there's some information in this prompt that I first gave it. You see I just drag and drop that in there. I'm telling it to review that because it may be that there's some information in here that's helpful for this smart logging. I'll say, once you are ready, please begin the smart logging construction. One of the beautiful things about AI is that it doesn't care about my terrible spelling. If I spell something wrong, it still understands me. Construction, whatever. Let's logging build. Okay, so I'm gonna click go. Hopefully now it will first start by, yeah, there you go. It's going to be reviewing all of this stuff. This looks like the old one. Wait a sec, so one thing you can do is you can click stop. Okay, and this is something I want to show you earlier actually. If you click stop, and you can see all of this is grayed out. So I can see there's some sort of bug, right? So it's looking at the old files, and that's because I made this before. Okay, so actually what I'm going to do is copy this original prompt and okay, so I'll show you. If I just click go here, it will actually erase all that old stuff and start again. And now, hopefully, it can review the current files. I'm going to pause it. This is going a little bit slow. Okay, so now it's finished that first one. I will say, please start. Begin by reviewing all of the current folders and files. Also, review the old, outdated prompt that I used to start all this, just so you have some context. Okay, so then again, I'm going to drag this prompt in. When you are ready to start building, please begin. Okay, so now hopefully we will see it looking through the current structure, which is the modular structure. There you go, listed modules. Okay, so now it's actually seeing the correct files. So I'm going to pause and let it think through this, and I will show you the results. Okay, so I can see it went through. It looks like it did some really basic stuff. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but let's have a test. So I can go to the actual thing here. Oh, whoa. There you go. So it is working. I can see because it's telling me all these errors. Okay, so message undefined. So no animations found. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is a problem with the logger or with my code. So the whole point of this logger is exactly this, right? So I can just copy all these logs. I can go back to cursor like this, and I can say, I can see something is working. I see these logs. I'm not sure if it's a logger problem or a real problem with the rest of the code. Okay, and then I can just paste these in. I like to put them in these triple brackets. This is just so that cursor can kind of separate different chunks of code. If I just paste a bunch of code in there, it may get confused what is what. And so that's why I separate it with these. To be honest, I don't know if that helps or not, but I've been doing that since the start, and it seems to help for me. So the goal now is to see, when we went to this code here, we can see all these different things. It says animation, no animations found, but the problem is I can actually see the animation. So I have a feeling this is a problem with the logger and not with my code. So that's why I want to just ask it to review that. So these. Oh, okay. So this is the. Let's see. So the morph targets. This is the bug I talked about before, right? Like the animations are not working. So it's actually finding these things correctly, which is cool, right? Okay. So these logger problems, no. These row problems, not necessarily. Okay. So actually, it looks like it may be working. So then we move on to the final thing. Let's actually do it. So since this is a smart logger, I think we can actually paste the next steps into that. So again, we've done these two things now. We've created this modular architecture, and we have this smart logging system. And the reason why we started with these and built these things first is because now fixing these bugs will be much smoother for Cursor. For example, this animation bug, there's probably like an animation file. Here you go, animations, right? So now if it needs to fix these animations, seeing these problems, right? We just saw that. And if it needs to fix them, it would probably go to this single file and actually start to edit just this file and not everything else. That's exactly what we wanted. That way we don't break things when we try to fix one thing and break another thing. We don't want that, okay? So let's actually start debugging. Remember I made this list of bugs. Okay, so let's just clean this up. So okay. Here is a list of bugs that I found in the current version of the project. Okay. What I want you to do is create a clean prompt for each bug and group. Sorry, let me just write this out. Can group them together if that makes sense. In this format. Okay, and essentially what I'm going to tell it to do now is use this format and create a prompt for each of these bugs that we found. Here are the bugs. Okay, so I'm going to copy all this in. Copy. Go back to Cursor, and now I'm just going to paste all that in here, and hopefully it's going to make a bunch of different prompts. Okay, so the morph target prompt, so this, good. This is exactly what I want it to do. So it even is telling, creating the correct module, right? So speech module and speech hooks, animation modules, okay? So now, I'll just say, let's do all of them. Try to go through all those bugs and fix them all. We now also have this smart logger, so we can use the feedback from that later to fix any remaining issues. Okay, to be honest, it's probably not the best way to do it altogether. But I have noticed that the new version of Cursor has this to-do list. So let's see if it can do it. Okay, I'm going to pause now and let it go all the way through this. And then once it's done, we can take a look at the final version. Okay? All right, so it says it's done. I'm just going to accept those changes. And now let's see the result. I'm very, I'm not confident in the fact that it did that. I'm seeing the exact same thing. Can I drag? Okay, so that's one thing. Look, now I can drag around. Before I couldn't do that with the mouse key. So see, it is fixing some stuff. Okay, the other one was, let's see, this one, the morph targets. So I'm going to zoom in to, I can't zoom in anymore. That's kind of a shame. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, it seems like the morphs aren't working. How about shift? So the morphs, essentially it should be controlling her eyes, and it doesn't look like it's doing that. So let me just take a note in Cursor. So I'll say, here is some feedback. The first thing I want to put in here is this. You can see that there are some errors in the console log. I think they're the same errors as before, but I'm going to just copy paste that in right here. Okay, and then I'll say the numbers to control / test. The animations still don't work. Let's see if the other thing I asked it to do was to speak more naturally. So let's see, I'll say, hey baby, what's up? And so I was hoping it would be kind of more concise, more human. like a better response.
Hey handsome, double the love today. Throwing kisses, I'm just chilling, missing you. What's got you messaging twice?
There you go, perfect. It's still saying messaging twice, so that seems like another bug. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pause the video for longer now. I'm going to go through and try to fix everything, and I will show you the final version once all these bugs are perfectly fixed and cleaned. Okay, so let's use the magic of editing, and you will I don't know, transport into the future. Just one sec. Okay, so I'm just finishing up here, setting the default camera positions. So let's take a look at the final result. Let me refresh. Okay, so not perfect, but better than before. So let's test. Hi, babe. How you doing? So you can see that our debugger here is working pretty well. It's taking the messages that I sent and giving us this information.
Hey handsome, I'm doing pretty great, especially now that you're chatting me up. How about you, babe? Throwing kisses.
Right, well, you can see her eyes blinking. So I'm just going to end there. Maybe in the next video I can make her even better than she is now. But we've made some progress. We've done modular coding. Here you go, so it's easier to fix. I've shown you how to do this debugger, shown you how to use Cursor, and maybe in the next videos we can get even more advanced and use the microphone and camera, whatever, you know? Anyways, I hope you liked this video. Please subscribe. I only have like 40 or 50 followers. It's not much. Please subscribe. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.